Well, good morning, everybody. It is Connor. We are back here with another episode on One Leeds. We are back here with another bit of analysis on what on earth is going on in this division. But before we start, everyone, please make sure you like the video. Please make sure you're commenting, you're subscribing, you're doing all that beautiful stuff. Patreon is available, link in the description below. Generation Leeds is going to be out very soon, which should be interesting. We've also got a bit with Oscar coming up. A few bonus bits as well, hopefully this week, if we can get some things sorted. Make sure you do that. We have your player ratings after every match as well. You can become a YouTube member, press the join button. Shout out to Stevie, shout out to Tim, and shout out to Eileen as well, who became YouTube members not long ago. I think it was a couple of days ago now. Shout out to you guys. And let's get on to today's Leeds United discussion, Leeds United news, a little bit of sort of positivity. It's coming around in the sort of news sphere this morning that apparently if Leeds United get promoted to the Premier League, there is going to be a set combined valuation on Willy Gnonto and Crysencio Somerville of 70 million quid. Yes, if Leeds United get promoted, there is going to be a 40 million quid price tag slapped on the Dutchman Crysencio Somerville. Wilfried Gnonto is going to have a 30 million price tag slapped on him as well. Do your maths, everybody. A combined fee there of 70 million quid. Now, this is all based on if the Whites get to the Premier League. So that's going to be fascinating to see what happens if we're not in the Premier League. Touch wood, that doesn't happen. We're going up, obviously, so that's irrelevant. But yeah, massive valuation there when it comes to both players. Now, as I've just mentioned, if we are to remain in the Championship, there is discussion we have to have. It is discourse that we have to have. What happens to those two players' valuation? Well, you would assume that it depends also on what other clubs are willing to pay, because Leeds United's assets will depreciate if we remain in this division, and Leeds obviously have to pay a significant amount back by June. According to sort of accounts, so Leeds do need to have that money in readiness to pay back to the people who it needs to be paid back to. So we need to have that money readily available. Crysencio Somerville, Wilfried Gnonto are assets that Leeds United are gonna have to sell in the summer if we do remain in this division. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully we look at the flip side of the coin, and I do think Crysencio Somerville, when it comes to 40 million quid, and Willy Gnonto, when it comes to 30 million quid, is going to price a lot of clubs out of it. There's a lot of rumours suggesting that Fiorentina and Roma are ready in bids for the Italian, but is that going to happen with that sort of money? I don't know. And even if we remain in the Championship, how much can Serie A clubs really afford to be paying in this current climate? It's not high. If you look at Serie A's sort of last 6 transfer windows, it's not been positive transfer windows when it comes to big valuations. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Crysencio Somerville has attracted interest apparently from Liverpool. Now, are they going to be paying 35, 40 million? We know even if Leeds remain in the Championship, Liverpool aren't sort of well known for splashing the cash when it comes to individual talent, take away some obvious ones. So, wait and see what happens with that one. But we know Cree is just a wonderful player, and he's proving how dependable he is week in, week out. Okay, so the elephant in the room, the Martin in the room. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Southampton battered. As I get my cup of coffee, battered last night against Leicester. And I have to say, I've had a little bit of fun with Leicester. I've had a little bit of fun with them. A bit of banter here, a bit of banter there. Bottling it here, bottling it there. And look, football works, doesn't it, with form. It works in results, and reactions are something that we all do. Because that's what happens in football games. And when you're in the Championship and you're playing twice a week, there is reactions. And if you lose, let's say 2 games in a week, which we've seen Leicester do, and you've seen Leeds United close a 17-point gap, you're thinking, oh my God, they're fully bottling it. And for a period, you can't get away from it. They bottled it. They'd completely bottled it. And Leeds United were looking like they were going to catch them up. And listen, pre-international break, look, Leeds were on, if we were on that same sort of path, that same form path, Leeds United were going to surpass them. 100%, but obviously we have massively dropped off post-international break, so that has meant that, you react to results, form changes, guides change, as we've mentioned, but we've had a bit of fun with Leicester, but I think in many videos we have made it abundantly clear that their quality and their calibre is above anybody in the league, really, when you take it into context, what we've said here on the channel and what other people have said here on the channel. They're always going to be so strong. And I've always had a feeling that, you know, even with this psychological murmur that they've had, that Leicester were going to get promoted, because I just can't see how Ndidi, Dewsbury Hall, Fatawu, Jamie Vardy, Daka, Iheanacho, a squad Pereira of that calibre just is going to perform. And last night, you know, as much as Southampton were embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing when it's a must-win game for you, to perform like that in a must-win game with the squad that you've got. The squad that they had out was strong. It was a strong team. I know Stuart Armstrong was missing, Flynn Downs was missing, but overall that was a really strong Southampton team. And to go to a rival where you need to win and perform like that is an absolute disgrace. And if I was a Southampton fan, I would be fuming right now. As I said, with that on the pitch, the team that you've got on the pitch, one of the Championship's in-form players in general, when you look at Adam Armstrong, Shea Adams has scored a couple of times in his last game. And really, when you look at your form, you've been one of the form teams, if not the form team out of that four. To go to Leicester, who have been a bit stodgy of late, to go there and to just get absolutely humiliated. I mean, that game genuinely could have been 8, 9, 10. Fatu was having the run of the pitch. Vardy was making, Bednarek look like a small child. It was just embarrassing. And shout out to Leicester, because they put on a clinic last night. They were brilliant. Southampton, appalling. And they are, I do feel, is that going to alter how they're going to play against Leeds United? Are they going to react like and play a different sort of, a different intensity against your Leeds United? And I can't quite remember who the last game is. It might be Blackburn. I'll have to go and check. But are they going to come into these games and play at that level? I don't know. But I tell you what, even with Leeds United, who have been a bit stodgy of late, I've just mentioned that word with Leicester, but even with Leeds, and we've been stodgy of late, if they come in to that game performing like that against us, we're going to absolutely humiliate them as well. It has to be said. If they perform like that, let's take context into it. If they perform like that, they're going to get humiliated against Leeds United. If they come in a low block, which is not what they normally do, I feel like Leeds would be able to get at them, because they don't normally play in a low block. They've not been sort of conditioned to play in a low block. If they come up against us and start to play football like I thought they tried to do in phases, but Leicester just pressed them into oblivion. The Enzo system worked perfectly. They pressed the fullbacks, they were pressing the midfielders, and they couldn't deal with it. They were trying to do little trios, little interchanges, Southampton, and they were just getting walked like dogs. So, Leicester were recovering the ball in their half. They were pressing high. They were getting shots on goal. Fully deserved. So Farke's got to look at that, because I think it is going to come down to the last game with Leeds United. But Farke's got to look at that and see how we can implement our style onto Southampton, because I feel in the first game Southampton did it onto us, which just can't happen. And you've seen that they are weak in certain areas as well. And last night proved that 100%. So I wanted also to talk about the scheduling, and me and my dad are going to speak about this extensively on Generation Leeds, but it's just an absolute disgrace how Leeds United play Monday and then Friday. We don't need to rehash all sort of old news. This has been happening for a while now, but it does really, really irk me. And this is why, managers are under pressure as well, because originally Leeds were supposed to have a 6-day break between Borough and QPR. Now, obviously, with Sky scheduling, who just have no consideration of fans, of teams, managers, whatever. They just do it because they do it. And the amount of times Leeds United have been on Sky is ridiculous this season. But they've moved the schedule. So now when you're looking at someone like Dan James, could Dan James have potentially recovered with the first game span? Maybe not, but maybe he could have done. Maybe he could have at least been on the bench. Now there's just no way, with almost, a 3-day recovery period. So it's just an absolute disgrace. And I know, John Newsom was talking about it as well the other day in a little article I read, and he was absolutely fuming. He said it's not fair on Farke, it's not fair on Leeds United, and it's really not. And we've spoken previously, obviously, about, Ipswich having a 3-day span in their last 3 games between games as well, which is a disgrace. But what Leeds United have got to face now is they've got to get these players back up to where they were. And we almost had a real advantage, didn't we? The 9-day period was a lovely day for Leeds United to recalibrate, recuperate and have that rest and get back to where we'd been previously. And you saw a massive difference with Leeds from the Blackburn game to the game the other day, which I do think encompassed and helped and was helped by a 9-day rest period. Of course it was, different ideas, different tactics, different this, that and the other, different, not too much when it comes to tactics, but maybe different tactical ideas. But unfortunately, obviously with the Sky scheduling, it means that we can't really do anything. Leeds they will have picked up knocks. There will be niggles in that team 100%. And we have to now go to QPR to another away game, and Borough all the way down to QPR is a significant journey. And I just think it's absolutely disgraceful that there's just no sort of way of getting around that. And listen, it is what it is. And now we know that Dan James is also going to be out for this one, which is a real shame in my opinion. And yeah, I wanted to discuss as well, finally, Junior Firpo. On this channel, it has to be said, we've criticised Junior Firpo in his career, but I have to say in 2024 we've been good with him. We have been very, very good with him when it's come to constructive criticism. There's been the odd game where positionally I've been a little bit worried, but I think overall here we've really glowingly spoken about him and his performances. I mentioned the other day that post international break he's been our best player, and he's now recording 7 assists in 2024. Which puts him right at the top bracket when it comes to assists in the division. So we could be seeing a real regeneration of Junior Firpo here. We know what he's good at. We know what he's bad at. That's never going to change. But you can definitely see a development in a player. And the other night, I did look at him for that first goal, but I think overall, after that first goal, he really got himself back into the performance, and I thought he was really, really good. A couple of highlight reels going around on Twitter and stuff, and listen, you've only got to praise the guy. Fantastic. But that's been it. In terms of news from me, everybody, check out, listen, turn those notification bells on. Make sure you subscribe, because you won't be alerted when we upload again on the channel, and we are doing that throughout the days and all this sort of good stuff. So make sure you do that. Make sure you're liking the video, all that sort of good stuff. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Make sure you check out the merch as well. Georgie, let's go. We saw that the other night, didn't we? After the victory, make sure you check that out. Link in the description below for all of those good things. We'll see you in a bit.